For the first time in 10 years, a game that was taken away without the promise of ever returning is back. But a lot of questions are yet to be answered. Mainly, what can be expected from a company that has a long track record of letting down its fans of its other titles? Also, can anything live up to the hype that's built up over the past decade? And what's to stop it from being taken away again? Well, to fully understand what's at stake here, we have to start from the beginning. The original college football game was released all the way back in 1993 under the name Bill Walsh College Football 1993. They didn't have the rights to most of the big name schools back then, so you were playing with teams like South Bend, SC, Raleigh, or Columbus. But if your school was actually the name of your state, you got lucky. Despite all the limitations, the game was actually pretty forward-thinking for the time. It featured things like a 12-team playoff system, dynamic camera angles with changes of possession, and a scaling football to give kickoffs and field goals just that much more depth. And according to Gaming World back in the day, it was the best sports action yet to be seen in a cartridge product. And by 1998, a licensing deal with the NCAA transformed the title to NCAA football, what we all know today. And over the years, it's given us features like Mascot Mode, Dynasty, and Road to Glory. And it really was gameplay like this that translated so well and separated it from Madden and other sports games. But it wasn't just the forward-thinking gameplay. It introduced a lot of young fans, myself included, to new teams, school traditions, fight songs, and stadiums. It played a huge role in promoting and celebrating everything unique and special about college football. And with every year, the game grew in popularity. NCAA 2014 made EA $80 million in profit, which was their most successful year in the franchise. Really, everything was trending up. Then suddenly, it all came screeching to a halt.
A former UCLA basketball star has his day in court this morning.
The athletes want to be paid for the use of their names, images, and likenesses in broadcast, video games, and other media.
They took every attribute of a player, except his name, and they put it in the game.
We should be able to, if we're in college and we're athletes, and if we're a big enough name, we should be able to license our own pictures and images.
The issues at stake in EA to date have been whether EA had a First Amendment right to take those student athletes' images, and the court ruled that it did not.
Lawsuits about players not benefiting from their image and likeness forced EA's hand, and they were willing to negotiate in compensating the athletes. But ultimately, it was the NCAA that wouldn't allow things to change and would pull their licensing agreement with EA. After 20 years of success, there was suddenly an indefinite hiatus that left a gaping hole in the gaming market for sports fans. But then fast forward to 2021.
Beginning tomorrow, college athletes can start earning money for their name, image, and likeness.
Today, the NCAA is set to vote on a recommendation by the Division I Council that would suspend amateurism rules related to name, image, and likeness.
Direct compensation from schools via NIL is really a key fulcrum of this.
And then we got this.
EA Sport is resurrecting its wildly popular old school college football game.
The game is back and hopefully better than ever. And with these new laws in place, players can actually opt into being featured in the game. No more QB number 13, well, at least for most players. But more importantly than that, after all of these years, the hope is high for unprecedented attention to detail in uniforms, stadiums, local traditions, including the transfer portal, NIL, and more, whether you're a fan of that stuff or not. And you can bet some form of ultimate team will be present with the ability to create some sort of all-time team with historic players at every position on the field. But then again, before we get too ahead of ourselves, this is EA we're talking about. More actual gameplay is expected sometime in May, and an official release rumored to be sometime in July. But EA may have given us more details than we originally thought. Check out this shot pointed out by No Context College Football on Twitter. Do with that information what you will, but whenever it's released, I'll just be happy to have a game back that did so much for celebrating and promoting the wonder that is college football. See you guys in the next video. Peace.